So in this video, we're gonna shim the cams, and all four cams, they each need to be shimmed separately. They might take 20 thou, 30 thou, 50 thou of shimming, and basically the object is to get the cam in here and with your cover on, have about, well, the book calls for 5 to 10 thou of end play in the cam, so it's able to float 5 to 10 thou. I'm going to say it should float at least 10 thou. It should be looser than that. So what I've done here is that I've got a couple of cam shims here. I've already measured it. I needed 80 thou on this particular cam, and so I've got a 25 thou and a 55 thou shim that I'm going to use. Now the shims come in all sorts of different thicknesses, and they're kind of hard to find, so I kind of keep them all organized here, and I try to kind of take good care of them. I try to use the thicker ones because the real thin ones, you can see here's a 5 thou one, and what happens is when it goes in, it can crush against the bearing and kind of get that. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it has a concave shape to it, and what can happen is it'll press over that bearing and it'll bend. So I try to use 20 thou, 30 thou at least thick cam shims, and these things are set up so that the outside diameter is about the same face as the face on behind the cam lobe. So what I'll do is I'll try to put the thinnest one in against the cam, the nice flat surface, and then the thick one can go behind it. And then it goes in, and when the cam is set in the cover, you put the cover on. Now I use these copper gaskets, which are pretty hard, but if you're using a paper or a foamette gasket, when you torque down the cover, it's gonna squeeze it in even more. So you might want maybe 15 thou, and because it's gonna squeeze it down to 10 thou. Anyway, you tighten down your cam cover, and you want to have enough bolts tightened down in that particular area so that the cam will be securely in place. And then we're going to measure the end play. So you take your 10 thou feeler gauge, and you put it down here. You have to have the tappet block out in order to do this. You put it down there, and you want your feeler gauge to just slip in behind that. You turn the motor over slightly and make sure that it will still slip in there. Feels about right. And then that tells you what your end play is. And it's important to do it on every one of your four cams. They're